Bivariate means two variables. For example, this is the explanatory variable. This is the response variable.
This video is going to go over 5 main topics: analyzing patterns in scatter plots, correlation and linearity, the coefficient of determination, interpretation of correlation and the coefficient of determination, and the impact of outliers and influential points.
When a problem asks you to describe a scatter plot, the 3 main things you want to mention are direction, form, and strength. Direction is, if plots go up from left to right, then it's positive. If it goes down, then it's negative. Form. Linear form is a straight line pattern, but curved and cluster relationships are other forms to watch out for. Strength. If the scatter is closely grouped around the regression line, strength is strong. Random scatter indicates weak strength.
If correlation R is provided, it can show strength and direction. Correlation means if R is larger than 0, then that is a positive association. If R is smaller than 0, that is a negative association. R goes from -1 to 1, and if R is equal to 1 or -1, that means there is perfect correlation. 0 means that there is no correlation. The closer the R value is to 1 or -1, the stronger the linear relationship is. For example, between -0.9, 0.2, and 0.8, -0.9 has the highest correlation. A common mistake is concluding a relationship is causation with R equals 1. Correlation does not imply causation. You need an experiment to establish causation. Another common mistake is assuming something about the relationship between the variables when only looking at correlation and not the scatter plot. R could equal 0.2, but the scatter plot is curved. Correlation R only describes linear relationships. R squared, or the coefficient of determination, is a measure of how close the data are to the fitted regression line. One common mistake is getting confused between R and R squared. Remember, R is the coefficient of correlation and R squared is the coefficient of determination. You can easily calculate the other when you have one of them, either by taking the square root of R squared to calculate R or squaring R to get R squared. To interpret the R value, you have to say there is a strong, moderate, or weak, and positive or negative linear relationship between the explanatory variable and response variable. To interpret coefficient of determination, you have to say what % of the variation in the response variable can be explained by the linear relationship with the explanatory variable.
Impact of outliers and influential points. An outlier is an observation that lies outside the overall pattern of the other observations. The impact of it is that points that are outliers in the y direction but not in the x direction of a scatter plot usually have large residuals. An influential point is an observation of a statistical calculation that, if moving it, would result in a change of the calculation. The impact of it is that points that are outliers in the x direction of a scatter plot are often influential for the least squares regression line. This is a practice AP problem. Please pause the video and try it out for yourself.
Thank you for watching the video.